everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Wizard Kid's Life, Wizard Kid here. I didn't even turn my camera off for a few seconds before I turned it back on to this last story. That's how scared I am in here. I want to go. But I said I was going to do this, and I am terrified massively. Yes, I'm not a normal explorer. That happens. Woo. Still glowing. Anyway, I'm up to the very last story. I got one story left, and it's from Australia's Haunted History. So I have 3 haunted history paranormal ghost books. And there's only one story in this I'm doing this time. And it's called Sydney's. So Sydney, which is 5 hours away from where I live, I think. I don't know, I haven't done that drive in years. Sydney, and this is called Sydney's Haunted House. Sydney, New South Wales, 1901. Keep in mind, I was born in 1994. 31 I am. So this is it. Sydney has many haunted houses, but there is one that takes the word haunted to a new extreme. The house in question is one of 2 stories. After a time of laying vacant, a young family moved in. They began sleeping in the upstairs portion of the property. However, over time, too many terrifying experiences occurred, and in the end, they only used the lower portion of the house. They had a maid who originally slept in the upstairs of the house, but her slumber was never peaceful. She would wake up and see a ghostly person leaning over her bed. The family had a young 12-year-old boy, and shortly after moving into the house, he refused to sleep upstairs. He claimed to have been woken from his sleep with a ghostly figure leaning over his bed. Both the maid and the boy described exactly the same features of the ghostly spectral. At first, the other members of the family didn't believe the story of the ghostly visitant, but this soon changed. It was a couple of months after moving into property that the family discovered that several persons had died in the house. To their surprise, one of the people who had died in the house matched the description given by the maid and the boy's ghostly visitor. During these couple of months, the family heard other rumours of there being something strange about the house. But the majority of the family continued to laugh away the rumours whenever anything was mentioned. But there was no mistaking the rumours. Once the parents of the young boy had their own disturbing personal experience with the ghostly visitant, they were laying in bed with a sudden chill when a sudden chill overcame them both. They passed it off as just a cold evening, but it was something more. They added blankets but still felt cold to the bone. It was as though something ice cold was standing near them both, but nothing was there. This went on for a number of days. Then, one night around 2 a.m, the father awakened by someone touching his feet. The room was in darkness, and his wife was asleep by his side. Terrified, the father lay perfectly still, listening again. He felt his toes being touched, not roughly, almost playfully. He was scared, very scared. Just like me right now. I feel that. There was something strange about the touch. But he soon collected himself and concluded that it was someone wandering the house. He slowly opened his eyes to investigate. He woke his wife, lit the gas, and went all over the house looking for an intruder, or some indication as to what was touching his feet. The doors were locked, just as they were when they went to bed, and everyone else in the house was sound asleep. Very puzzling. After discussing the strange occurrence for some time, they both went back into bed again, but this time leaving the gas burning so the room was lit. The father naturally kept his eyes open and fixed on the end of the bed. The doorway was open and laying on the floor was the end of the bell rope, which was a long cord used to ring a bell to bring the maid. A few minutes passed, and he still intently watched the foot of the end of the bed and the doorway, and again his feet were being touched by something. Nothing was there, but while gazing in astonishment, he noticed the bell rope was moved several times as though someone or something was pulling. pulling it. He immediately jumped out of bed and made another investigation around the house, but again found no one there. He woke his wife and told her what he had witnessed, and they both stayed awake until daylight broke. The next day, their bed was moved to another room. Sometime after, they heard a rumour that a person had died in that room in the exact spot where their bed had been located. Another curious thing about the house was that the family could hear noises on the stairs, as though someone were walking up and down. They explained them as being created by quite natural means, but over time they became more prevalent. Another curious thing about the house was that the family could hear the noise on the stairs as though someone was walking up and down. They explained them as being created by quite natural means, but over time they became more prevalent. Other experiences in the house involved sharp, loud rapping with the front door knocker in the dead of night, about 1 a.m, with no sound of anyone coming or going, and no one to be seen when the door was opened, and the bouncing of a ball in the drawing room. The latter was rather curious. Most people know the sound of a hollow rubber ball when bounced. It is a sound easily recognised. One night, the younger children had been playing with a rubber ball in the drawing room, and the ball was left in there after they went to bed. Deep in the night, the father was laying awake when he heard this ball being bounced in the drawing room. It was just as though someone were bouncing the ball on the carpet. Investigations revealed nothing, save that the ball was on the floor. The room was locked up, both doors and windows. When the family retired, there is no normal explanation to offer as to these strange happenings in this old, eerie, two-storey house in Sydney. Now, this is all the ghostly stories for this year, for 2025. I love yous. Yes, I did miss last year because I had a great idea and then I changed my mind and decided to go this way instead of what I was originally planning on doing. And that was probably wise because I was originally planning on using Mo Saji's videos to make ghostly stories. Sorry, Mo, you see this. I chose not to. You're welcome. But I did start. I wrote a little bit of one. So if you want it, message me. I doubt it. You'll see this, so that's okay. Anyway, that's all for now. I will put down in the description what the date for I did this, but I will be doing this on October, whatever the date is, and you all will be seeing this on October 31st on Halloween. But I love yous and yous are all wonderful. Anyway, that's it for now. And yeah, Wizard Kid,